are listening to STR, the Sunday Times Radio. Culture, music, and beyond. Hello, everyone. This is STR and the Creative Hour. And today we're very, very pleased to have Khalid Shahin at our studio. Hi, Khalid.
Hi.
Lovely seeing you today. And
Thank
again,
you
so grateful that you've made it, because being such a known sculptor with a creative path for, I don't know, almost a decade, it means so much for me to have you today at our studio and to chat about the traditions and modern tradition and everything.
So, it's my pleasure.
Really appreciate it lots. To start with, as I already said, your creative journey is so long and so inspiring. Can we go back in time and discuss how it all started? How did your creative path start?
Okay, fine. My creative path began with a deep fascination for form and structure from an early age. Growing up when I was in Kuwait, I was always drawn to the tactile, the three-dimensional world, whether it was building objects with my hands or sketching out abstract idea. The moment I realized art could be a passion was when I saw how powerful it was as a medium for communication and self-expression. Mm-hmm. Over time, the practice of sculpture and metalwork became my chosen language, allowing me to give shape to the abstract ideas that I wanted to express. Mm-hmm. As you know, when it comes to abstract art, I think it misses three-dimensional. Mm-hmm. So you have to add one more or two more elements for flat surface to make it,
like lively.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my unbringing blade provide a pivotal role in shaping my artistic journey. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Coming from a culturally rich region like the Middle East, where tradition constantly interacts with classics and modernity. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I was surrounded by a blend of old world craftsmanship, new world innovation. My exposure to Islamic art and Islamic architecture, intricate designs, and the vibrant colors of my heritage instilled in my appreciation for detail, which later became an integral part of my work. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Additionally, growing up in a city that embraces diversity fueled my desire to create art that speaks to both local and global audience.
Absolutely. Very, very, very interesting. And then speaking about the scene, can you tell me where does your family come from, and how did your heritage also influence your artistic journey and the way you create?
Being based in the Middle East, I moved around from Kuwait to Jordan, my home country. Then afterwards, I went to Qatar. I stayed there for 3 years. I worked for one of the top design agencies, which is Ogilvy. And I worked for Olive Design.
Wow.
And the big guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Saudi Arabia. I worked with on a contract basis with Saudi Aramco. Mm-hmm. Then I came to Dubai in the year 2000, and since then I am based in Dubai. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In 2002, I decided to take a giant leap, which is I quit my job. Mm-hmm. I decided to be a full-time artist.
That might have been so scary, though. At the time, right?
It was for me a big risk, but I decided to take it and move forward. Mm-hmm. My first analysis to Dubai, when you are saying Dubai, you are talking about a cosmopolitan city. Mm-hmm. I love the city. I love it so much because, you can witness that it has, I think, 220 nationalities. Mm-hmm. And they are living peacefully in a very healthy environment. And the government, they are enforcing, good laws that protect, copyrights, intellectual properties. So that's why this is what basically artists they are looking for. They want to protect their pieces, art pieces. So that's why I fall in love with this city. But again, when it comes to your question, coming back to your question, and as I said, being based in the Middle East, I have always felt a deep connection to the artistic traditions of this region, especially Arabic calligraphy, and the way they are looking to Arabic calligraphy, Islamic arts, Islamic patterns. Especially you are talking about a region that even here in UAE, for example, you can see so many mosques. And between a mosque and a mosque, there is another mosque, and they are competing with each other to come up with something, artistically. When it comes artistically, I'm talking about now architecture. So that's why I was very fascinated by the way these mosques are built. So I used to go and inside and trying to figure out how they are incorporating the Arabic calligraphy surrounding the walls, and so that's why since then I felt, hey Khalid, why I don't create a sculpture taking my inspiration from this kind of all this? Because see, Islamic art, Islamic patterns, Islamic calligraphy or Arabic calligraphy, as I said, it's full of harmony, curves, especially when I'm talking about some scripts, okay, or some type of Arabic calligraphy. When it comes to the artist, how he's going to incorporate, or how he's going to utilize, or how he can employ this kind of letter or that kind of letter, or this letter or that letter in his sculptures. This is what pushed me to reinterpret these traditional elements into more modern and abstract way. So my heritage gives me a rich visual vocabulary to draw from, but my work evolves from the foundation to speak the today's world.
Very, very interesting. And can you tell me more about your biggest influences? Who have been your biggest influence maybe, or any experience that shaped your work?
As I said, I was very, very, very influenced by, because the artist, it's a chain, okay, of, ideas. So when I decided to be a full-time artist, I used to, go back to old books about art to see how these guys, big names, how they started their journey. Whenever, even whether we are talking about art or sculptures, because at the end of the day, it's all about art. So I decided to go back and the old-fashioned way and read the old books, read the history of art. Okay, and mainly read about the journey of each and every artist, how he started from A and he went to B and he ended up with X and Y and Z. Okay, so at that time I was grabbing my, what they call it, inspiration. At that time, technology, it wasn't to that extent. So I decided to go the old-fashioned way. I used to go to big libraries here.
Nice.
Okay, in Dubai, public libraries, and read books about, art and design and stuff. So that's since then I grabbed my inspiration. Yeah.
Oh, what's your favorite library? Which one?
Here in Dubai, there is two libraries. There is one library in Atwar area, and there is a new library also here. Recently, I think it has 1 million book, according to the...
in Al Sarkal?
No, here in Dubai.
In Dubai.
It's in the Jeddah area. It's a huge public library, huge. Also, I used to borrow books from my friends. I used to order from Amazon books about arts and design. Yeah, but I would say my journey really started in 2003 or 2004 when I was contacted by one of the biggest galleries here in the region. And the owner, he spoke to me and he said, listen, we saw 2 pieces of your artworks and we fall in love with them. But we need from you, if you can just tweak them a little bit. I said, when you are saying tweaking, what do you mean by tweaking? He said, oh, no, we are requesting you to do some custom pieces for our clients in the region, mainly in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar. because we are working on hotel projects and we want to promote your art. I'm talking something around 2005, late 2004. And it was really my kickstart in this professional career as a full-time artist. So since then, they started to do some acquisition for my art pieces. And that at that time, I was, very happy, so happy. So I decided to, now we are talking about time management. I'm not that kind of person who sleep for 8 hours. Maximum, I need 4 to 5 hours. So you are talking about 18 to 19 hours. I decided to take this 18 to 19 hours working hard to produce as much as I can art pieces. One day, and I shared them with this gallery, and one day the owner, the CEO, he called me up and he said, Khalid, our client in Saudi Arabia, he fall in love with your pieces and he wants to do a big acquisition. So we need from you 128 pieces ASAP.
Oh, wow.
Brand new, and we will give you the text and we'll give you the writing. So you have to create something around this script. So I took this challenge and it was really a success story for me. And it opens for me quite a lot of doors with this client and that client. I have one friend of mine, he gave me an advice. He said, Khalid, take my advice. Don't sign any exclusive agreement with any gallery. Really.
You're too good to be held back.
You have to be owned by everybody. Nobody can force you to do this or that. I took his advice and I signed with another 3 galleries or 4 galleries, I cannot remember, in the year 2007. At that time, 2006, 2007, I signed with one gallery based here in Dubai. And I wish I have a record. I don't know how to have a record of that. But, let's talk about when the accountant of this gallery, he told me literally, Khalid, one of your pieces should go to Guinness World Record because we managed to sell 2,166 pieces of this piece. Jesus. All over the world.
Jesus.
I swear.
Wow.
Yes.
That is insane.
And it was lovely. And even till now, I produced that piece in 2004. Till now, people, they are
still
buying
back.
this piece from me.
Amazing.
Okay, they are, keep saying, okay, we need this space, this size, that size. So I send it to a printing guys that I'm, using them for printing. I print it, ship it, and take my money back.
What do you think is important for an artist to be as successful? What's the core? What takes it to
Dedication.
be? Dedication.
Dedication. Yeah, besides, being talented. But the most important thing is dedication. Secondly, you have to invent yourself every once in a while. Because when we are talking about invention, I'm talking about myself now, in the year 2008 or 9, when I saw so many competition in the field of, Arabic calligraphy, I came across so many people. I heard that, this artist is creating something similar to my pieces. That artist is creating something similar to my pieces. So I took a strategic decision to differentiate myself. But how to do this? I said, oh, God, stop, Khalid. You have enough stock of your pieces. I have more than 840 artworks, imagine.
Insane.
I stopped producing art in 2010. 2011, 2012. I decided to go for sculptures. Whether it's a wall sculpture, a tabletop sculpture, a standing sculpture, a floor sculpture, or whatever. But the big challenge, how to maintain, how to,
Be unique.
I don't want to use my personality,
Yeah.
because what they call it, my fingerprint.
Yes.
Because I am
yes.
very well known for, Khalid, he's that kind of person. He's that guy who's creating, Arabic calligraphy,
Yeah.
paintings and design.
Like signatures.
Exactly, my
things.
signature pieces. So I decided to incorporate Arabic calligraphy with sculpture. And the big challenge was, and this is the big challenge, what material I'm going to use to produce this.
Yeah.
Because, when it comes to, ideas are easy. The easiest thing is to create idea. The toughest part, how you can convert this idea into a tangible something, people, they can, feel it. So for me, it was a big challenge. Okay. At that time, 3D printing, it wasn't there as on a large scale.
Sure.
Okay. I'm talking about, the early days.
Sure.
So I said, okay, Khalid, let's go the old school. Let's back to old school, when it comes to, doing something in hand. So I went to the art shop. I bought clay, standard, the clay for
Regular.
Yes. So I bought, enough 5 kgs of clay. So I started, to do something in my hand. Then, using some, old school tools to. I shared this with one of my friends. He's a famous sculptor. He said, Khalid, go for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He said, go for it. He said, invest time and efforts. I'm quite sure you will reach to your destination. We ended up with something. My first piece, it was, a tabletop piece. It was 50 centimeters high, where I did, something related to Sufism. Okay. Because there is some letters in Arabic calligraphy, they are linked to Sufism. And I love Sufism. Because it's, I'm talking now when it comes to philosophy, their philosophy, when you read about that, you will fall in love with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why, because, at the end of the day, you have to create something, it has a meaning. Okay. And for me, it was a challenge. It's not only creating something about sculpture, you have to tell a story.
Yeah.
See, art is about story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to tell a story, whether it's a 2D artwork, sculpture, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or a product design. It has to be story. There should be a story behind each and every piece you are creating. Yeah.
And how do you choose the materials you work with?
I tried all kind of materials. Standard clay, fiberglass, bronze, metal, aluminium, stainless steel.
Golds and bronze and everything.
Yeah. And since I don't have the capacity, full capacity to, or I don't have a factory to, so I decided to utilize others. I produced, by the way, one of the largest, it's in my Instagram, people, they know it. I produced, I think, I am the only person in the whole Middle East who created the largest calligraphy sculpture. It's 6 meters high. Ooh. 6 meters high.
Wow.
I have a video, it's on my Instagram, about the whole process. And it was for Qatar Airways in Qatar. 6 meters. And they placed it in front of their new headquarters. It's made of stainless steel. It's about the letter Ain. Okay. Has a fountain.
Amazing. I've seen the video. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's still listening from you about the process. It's insane because in the video you could see like so many people were involved in the construction and the trucks and everything.
Exactly.
And
it took me 4 months.
4 months.
4 months, 1 full month, trying to produce 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sketches to get the client's approval on that so we can proceed. Afterwards, I struggle to find a big factory who can produce this. Because see, in the Middle East, we don't have the capacity to produce such a large or gigantic, sculpture.
Sure.
So that's why I went to China. Okay, and China, they have all the capacity, they have all the materials, they have, and this one of my favorite pieces, 6 meters height. I did another one is 6 meters also. It's a wing, falcon wing. It's still not installed, but it will be installed in the upcoming 2 months. Made of bronze, it's gold. Also, it's for a client here in the region.
You know which one is my favorite, I think, from your website? It's Takasim, I think.
Takasim,
It's very, very pretty.
Takasim, it's a set of 6, 6 falling, what they call it, organic shapes in each.
They're very interesting.
Yeah. By the way, I did this for a client in Saudi Arabia, and they were looking for something could be converted into lighting.
Amazing.
If you look at it, it's like,
it could be a lamp.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they want to produce it in Italy, in Venice, made of Murano glass. So that's why that's why they approached me and they said, Khalid, you've been shortlisted, not only shortlisted, you've been selected to produce this kind of, we need you to come up with something, but it has to be organic, it has to be unique, and we don't want to repeat or clone, or we don't want you to clone or repeat something you did in the past for other clients. I said, okay, fine.
You are listening to STR, the Sandy Times Radio.
Can you tell me about the symbolism behind the organic forms in Takasim? And you talk a lot about the natural forms as well.
Yeah.
I think it's given from the Islamic art and the inspiration of the vegetal and floral.
Exactly, yeah. Now, if you look at Takasim, inside each and every piece, there is a letter. Because, see, the Arabic alphabet consists of 28 alphabets, okay? Each and every alphabet has a meaning. In the Arabic heritage, Arabic tradition, in Sufism, in the Islamic philosophy, okay? So I decided to study all these, the idea or the philosophical meaning behind each and every piece. So I selected 6 different letters that I feel they are very well connected to my soul.
Which are those?
The letter Waw, the letter Ain, the letter Ha, the letter Alif, the letter, the 6 letters. Each and every one I can share. By the way, I don't know how to share this with the, with the listeners, but, I will put them all in my website so people, they can go and read about them. Yeah.
We can do an article about that.
I will.
Yeah, let's do that.
I will do an article about that. It's not my invention, because I did a short study about this, and I summarized them all in one piece of paper. Okay. Even, Sophie, that whenever you have something or whenever you produce something to a client, you have to attach a story.
Absolutely.
I have to attach a piece of paper telling the client where this idea came from, what's the sculpture all about, how much time you put to produce this. And final stage, me and my clients, we sat together to agree on the colors for the Qasim. And he said, what do you think? I said, listen, do it in glass. Murano glass in Italy. So he took my advice, and they did some mock-ups in Italy. They utilized one of the famous, light designer in Italy. His name is Giovanni Giovanni Tossetto, something like that. And he is very famous in his industry, and it's a family business. They used to do lighting made of Murano glass.
Amazing.
Yeah. And they are the main supplier for, one of the biggest light companies in the world, Raffaello.
Interesting. And tying it back to the cosmopolitanism of Dubai and reinvention of what's been already said and finding something unique, would Takasim be a good example of reinventing of the traditional art forms and then traditional scripts and pieces?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely, yes. The biggest challenge for me still I don't know if I mentioned that before. I used to say that I'm a person who's keep competing with himself. Because my biggest competitor is Khalid Shahin. He's my biggest competitor. I'm not competing with anybody. I don't want to put myself in competition with anybody. Okay. So that's why if you look at my pieces, they are unique. Okay. That's why even I'm telling my friends and even the people who are taking my art workshops, if you guys want to be a real artist, a genuine artist, you have to be yourself. Okay, take inspiration from anyone. Take inspiration from the internet, from your friends, from the nature, from the environment, from the culture, from everywhere. But try your best to create something or to get yourself into an area where nobody he went there. You have to be, to create something one of
of a kind, like
exactly one of a
absolutely
kind.
unique.
Yes, yeah. That's why if you look at my pieces, I would say even if you spend some time, searching the internet for something similar, you can find something similar when it comes to the organic shape, but you will never find something similar to my piece. And that's why this is what I'm telling my colleagues, my friends, everybody. You have to create something unique, modern, and you have to invent or reinvent yourself every once in a while. And this can be done by, using a new material, new medium, okay? Down the road, talking about now to Qasim, after maybe 6 or 7, 8 months, okay, same client, he came and he said, we want to reproduce something like, souvenirs for the people who are visiting UAE and the region. We want to put them in gift stores. I said, no, I'm sorry.
It's mass production.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person who's, prefer to go commercially. I want to stay a genuine artist, producing one piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, only custom-made pieces, okay, but not
mass production.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's so interesting how you say the easiest part is the idea, although I would say the idea is what actually separates mass production from custom made also. So then how do you maintain the balance between, being genuine and unique and modern, and at the same time being so, public and traditional and understandable for so many people? Like how do you maintain these two polars?
Back to my decision to be a full-time artist. See, the decision of being a full-time artist, it means, because at the end of the day, you are talking about a profession. A profession means a person who can get his money. He's get paid.
A job.
Yes, exactly. It's a profession, a job. I'm a full-time artist. I'm a full-time sculptor. Okay. And as you said, I need to reach to a formula how to balance between commercially going between the commerce part of my career and what they call it,
like the creative, the artistic,
yeah,
something
exactly.
for yourself.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, because I need also to maintain, because I need to keep respecting myself. I don't want to go into that area.
Yeah, you have to maintain your dignity.
Exactly.
And your
Yes,
pride.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That's why even in my product and furniture design, whenever I'm creating something, I will never repeat this order for another client.
Even though it's like
It's
a
one of
utility.
one. Exactly. Whether it's a dining table, whether it's a chair, anything, because I did so many product design for, companies here, mainly in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. We did, this incense burner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did maybe more than 8 or 9 unique pieces for clients in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, where I incorporate Arabic calligraphy and my designs to, the product. We ended up with a sculpture, but it's function-wise.
It's like utility.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes.
Amazing. This
Yes.
sounds beautiful. And
Yes.
for the essence burner,
Yes.
for the candles and
Exactly.
everything. Wow.
Yes, yeah. Especially,
Can you imagine?
Yeah. let's put them in quote unquote, my incense burners, and the design is very costly. The design is very costly. They used to produce a limited edition of 50 pieces only from each design. Okay, I'm talking about the companies. So they want also to, because their target audience are, people who can afford paying
Sure.
that amount of money for.
Sure. Makes sense.
Exactly. That's why, and it's not only, they want people who are buying this incense burner to keep looking at it as a piece of art, not only an incense burner. Yeah.
So then it's interesting, deep in our dialogue, then the success formula for an artist is to be true to yourself, to
Yes.
be unique,
Yes.
to be dedicated and be willing to dedicate up to 19 hours in your day to your work and to produce.
Yes.
Once you
And
find
challenge
yourself. Challenge yourself, reinvent yourself. And then also whenever you will be offered like an insane mass production project, be true to yourself and go with the uniqueness rather than the commodification and utility. It's interesting. And if we're going back to the tradition and how it changed over time, maybe you could tell me also, because your art is a very interesting intersection between past and contemporary, as you mentioned yourself. How do you think the traditional art, and in general, actually, art world in MENA will change over the next decade? Do you think we will maintain the calligraphic works and the roots, or we would go, I don't know, tech savvy?
You are talking about this region, technically speaking. This region, unlike Europe, unlike United States, Canada, Russia, those countries, they started, to produce art maybe 700-800 years ago. So they have a big when it comes to production. Okay, art in the Middle East region, you'll be shocked, started after the World War II, not World War I, in the 40s.
In the 40s.
30s and 40s.
Okay.
The reason why, because, in Europe, for example, St. Petersburg, the Academy of Art, founded in the year 1860 or 78. Imagine, you are talking about an academy more than 180 years.
Absolutely.
The same applies to Italy. The same applies to
the rest of the
China. Okay, China, we are talking about the Academy of Fine Arts in Beijing, 200 years, 190 or 200 years. So, but in this region, it was a bit conservative. The whole area, it was linked to some religious, was conceptual. The way people here in this region, I'm talking about MENA, we're looking to art. It's not, very well welcomed. But in 1940s, 50s, some fine art colleges, they started to emerge in Egypt, Iraq, Syria. And we started to see and witness some changes in the whole Middle East, the way they are looking to art. And we started that time to hear about this artist and that. I'm talking about pioneers.
Yeah.
When it comes to the art pioneers in the MENA region, you will never find an art pioneer in mid-40s. They start to produce art in 50s. But nowadays, if you look at, I'm talking about the art movement in the entire Middle East, now they changed dramatically. Imagine in Dubai, only in Dubai, we are talking about more than 44 to 50 galleries, art galleries. When you are saying art, you have to talk about, art collectors, art acquisition. So this is what they call it, art movement. So now we started to witness a good art movement in the whole Middle East, especially in the Gulf region where people, they can afford buying expensive arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because art, it's not casual.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not accessory.
It has to cost money. It's someone's piece of soul.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's why. And the same applies to sculptures.
Absolutely.
Sculptures are even more expensive than, traditional canvas art. Yeah.
Because materials,
it's
a different craft.
Exactly, yes. The biggest challenge when it comes to dealing with sculptures, there is no step back. Once you produce a piece, you cannot alter it, you cannot modify it. Unlike, canvas or
Yeah.
standard. Okay, if you don't like it, shred it, start a new one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sculptures,
You have to think about every step.
you have to plan, you have to do a sketch, a 3-dimensional sketch, share it with your client, get his approval, then you can send it to production. One single mistake, it will cost you a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How do you think the sculpture will change over the next decade, considering that the past started in the 40s and 30s, and then we're on the verge, I guess, now,
Yeah.
because so many things are happening. How do you think everything will change?
You are talking about this region?
Yeah.
Sculptures market is niche market. So you are talking about 0.001% of people who are doing sculpture acquisition.
Yeah.
Mainly, who's doing acquisition now, by the way? If you look at the big picture in this area, hotels, big hotels, private collectors, and VIP families. You will never find a middle-class family who are willing to invest in a sculpture.
Yeah, sure.
It will cost them a fortune. Yeah, that's why all sculptors around the region, they are producing something big in order to sell it for either government or hospitality, hotels. So that's why, and for me, it was also back to my success stories. I did quite a lot of projects when it comes to hotel sculptures. I did one Zabil here in Dubai recently. It was installed maybe 3 months ago. It's one of my favorite pieces. One Zabil, one of the prestigious hotels now in Dubai in the region. Also, I did Fairmont Hotel. And also one of my biggest success stories here in the region is Grand Hyatt of Kuwait. I did the 9 floors. In each floor, I did one big litter. Okay, they were looking for something unique where they want their the guests, when they are coming out from their rooms, they need to go into a long corridor and they will end up.
They want to see something like, wow.
Yeah, they will reach to the left. Each floor, it has a unique sculpture. While they are waiting, they need their guests to look at the sculpture and trying to figure out, while they are waiting. By the way, their ultimate objective is to force people to love art. So that's why when I was approached by the art consultant, the UK, a British art consultant, he said, Khalid, we need to create something for Grand Hyatt. In Kuwait, it's one of the biggest hotels, and you have 8 months for production. And the idea is to create a unique piece in each floor next to the elevator, the lifts. We want people, while they are waiting for the lift to come, to have a look at this. It has to be something built around Arabic calligraphy. Each sculpture, it has to be unique. But all the 9 sculptures, they need to maintain the same look and feel when it comes to color. So I made them in a bronze color, and it was one of my success stories.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just how everything is evolving, and it's actually very interesting how the region is growing and everything. Can you tell me the message that you would want to tell yourself when you just started out, before you knew you're going to be such a successful artist?
Stay alive and don't get fed up. Even if the economy is down or the entire political situation in the Middle East is bad, okay, because now we are witnessing, some chaos, war here and there. Because, artists, when it comes to art and artists, their ultimate objective is to promote peace. We love peace. We want everybody to live in peace. We want people to link themselves to their families, to their beloved ones. Whenever you live in a peaceful environment, you can do so beautiful things. You can create art, you can create music, you can dance, you can. So that's why every day I'm telling myself, Khalid, stay alive. Keep producing art, either for yourself or for others. Even if you don't sell them, just keep on producing them. So that's why if you come to my studio, if you come to my home, imagine, let me just tell you one thing, you will be shocked and laugh. Yesterday I was talking to my wife. My wife also, she's an art lover. But she keeps telling me, Khalid, okay, you are the best person in the entire world. You are. But please be organized. Because artists usually
They're very, very creative. Too
are
creative to
but they
be
are
organized.
not exactly when it comes to. So that's why if you come to my home, I have one room in my home. Imagine, now you will be shocked. I have more than 5,000 pens and pencils.
Oh God.
I swear. I have more than 3,000 sketches.
Yeah, you gotta
I
be
swear.
organized in this.
I have clays all over the place. I have, tools. I have, brushes. I have more than, I cannot even count them. And this is the funniest part. My wife, she was telling me only yesterday, she said, Khalid, why you are buying new materials? You have them all here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because I'm not an organized person. I don't want to spend time searching for this pencil or that pencil, where it's located. So I'm going and buy another one. So that's why. And this is my message to myself. Stay alive, create art, and promote and keep publishing new stuff. Stay connected with others. Keep visiting art galleries. Yeah.
And love your wife for making you organized.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least trying.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Khalid, thank you.
Thank you.
I think it ended up being a beautiful talk about the path of the artist throughout the generations and how the art world formulated and everything. And I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Khalid, thank you so much for this dialogue. I'm very grateful we could discuss the journey of an artist and maybe once again touch upon the fact how brave all creative people are and what needs to be done in order to become successful. I think these are the questions everybody would love to find an answers for, and today you just helped all of us a little bit in our seek of success. I hope everyone enjoyed this dialogue as much as I did, and stay tuned for next episode. STR loves you. Bye bye. Be brave and create.